So now, my dear friends, I'd like to focus on my favorites of the year from the JANUS Contemporaries Blu-ray lineup. So as we know, this year, 2023, marked, among other things, the start of the JANUS Contemporaries Blu-ray lineup, of course, associated with the Criterion Collection. There are announcements made about these releases via the Criterion Collection website. We, of course, know also the deep and long-lasting historical relationship between JANUS Films and the Criterion Collection. And so now we see, in many ways, what can be considered to be a new chapter in that ongoing relationship. In the context of Blu-ray releases, these aren't necessarily these aren't spine-numbered releases. They are not spine-numbered releases in the Criterion Collection physical media catalog per se, so they don't get spine numbers, but they are part of the Criterion canon in the sense that, again, the JANUS Films connection, and then also the fact that we do get them publicized on the Criterion Collection website. And also there is a connection with the Criterion channel because so far we will often see as supplemental material with each of these releases a short or a supplement that is based in materials that were originally broadcast or now continually made available on the streaming service known as the Criterion channel. So in those ways, I think this is Criterion related, and it's been a very exciting lineup. I've been so thrilled with the lineup so far. As far as first time releases for me, this JANUS Contemporaries lineup has always held each of its releases a new surprise, and to get a little bit of the background of the filmmaker or the filmmakers with the supplemental materials that are made available is also very worthwhile for me, and a wonderful, enriching cinema-related endeavor that is, again, something that I look forward to seeing continued in the year 2024 and beyond. But before we get to 2024, let us start with 2023 and our favorites of the JANUS Contemporaries lineup, or my favorites of JANUS Contemporaries lineup. They might not be necessarily yours. You might have a different list, but that's okay. If you have a different list, please feel free to share it with me at any time in the comment section or the like. But I've chosen my top 3 JANUS Contemporaries titles, if that's okay with you. And so in order from 3, 2, and then to my favorite, number 1, let's start with my number 3. And I'm so sorry if I missed out on a number of others. There have been, I think they're all really wonderful in their own ways. But if I had to choose 3, and my own personal favorites, they would be as such. So number 3, I've chosen this work, which is from the year 2022. And it is right here. This is a lovely work. Yeji Skolinovsky's work, Io. And when I first saw this, excuse me, for my poor focusing YouTube video making, I apologize for this, but I hope you can forgive me. But once you see it in focus here, you can see that this is the Blu-ray, which is housing a powerhouse of a film that is filled with a lot of humanistic touches, and also a type of gritty, almost cold, cruel, unnerving nature to it that also is giving way to a sense of warmth and a sense of camaraderie and a beautiful, humane touch. And so I've put this at my number 3 favorite of the JANUS Contemporaries lineup. So this is number 3 for me. I think this is such a powerful, beautiful, poetic work. That's the work which is Io. That's my number 3. Now, my number 2 favorite from the JANUS Contemporaries lineup is also from the year 2022. And it is right here. The work, the Palmason work, which is Godland. And this film, again, was a first-time watch for me. It knocked my socks off when I saw it. It was a stunner. It was a stunner. I was taking with it in the first part of the film, and I thought and the first part was a knockout, and I thought it was going to take me to one place, and then it makes a real interesting development turn or series of turns that goes in a direction that blew my mind. And I'm watching it now. I've watched it a number of times since its this initial release, the JANUS Contemporaries lineup. Again, my first time to watch it, and I was just utterly stunned and numbed. I couldn't quite figure out well, I mean, I had felt the raw impact of the film, but upon rewatch, I realized more and more that there's so much going on in terms of the majestic and almost perhaps even intrusive aspect of the environment and nature in a way that's subtly and not so subtly psychological and takes it to quite an interesting development. Again, the possibilities of characters and their choices is also on display here with vivid detail, a sense of grandeur and sweep that never that never loses sight of the small minutia and the little things that can creep up into huge catastrophe level types of developments, and all the while focusing in on the cold harshness, the potential for warmth, but also the cold, deep, cruel harshness that is at work in this compelling work, which is Godland. So this is my number 2 favorite from this year 2023 of the JANUS Film Contemporaries or JANUS Contemporaries releases, which brings me to my number 1 favorite work. This is also from the year 2022, and in this lineup of the JANUS Contemporaries, I think I was again, this is a work that I hadn't seen before, and when I put it into the player and I saw it, I was laughing. I was just swept up with the emotion and the romance and the hijinks and the caper aspect and the acting, the meta nature of it, the film within the film aspect of it. And I'm speaking of the work which is from the artist-director Louis Garrel, and it is this work, which is L'Innocent, or it's known in English as The Innocent. And I was just I was so taken with, again, the crime caper parts to it, but the crime caper parts to it took turns that took me by surprise, and in a very pleasant way that had this lovely action adventure thrill comedy caper aspect to it that also had great throwbacks to 70s gangster films or crime caper films, wonderful uses of maybe Brian De Palma-like tactics, cinema tactics, which I think are used to great effect and great comic effect too, as well as a wonderful score and the performances. I must say, it really drove the film in terms of the lovely intimate relationships that are portrayed here, and with Louis Garrel both in front of the camera and behind the camera, and the rest of the cast and crew. This was a true delight from start to finish. I was not expecting to be swept up with this film as much as I did, and just watching it over and over again, I am utterly taken and hypnotized, and a big fan of this work. I love this work. So this is my number 1 favorite in the JANUS Contemporaries lineup, and it is the film which is The Innocent. So those are my top 3 from the JANUS Film Contemporaries lineup. So again, I know that there are more. I apologize I couldn't mention all of them, but if I had to choose 3, I would choose these. So it's, but there are many more, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the JANUS Film Contemporaries or JANUS Contemporaries lineup in 2024 and beyond has to offer. But in the meantime, my dear friends, those are my top 3 favorites of the year from 2023 and the JANUS Contemporaries Blu-ray lineup.